Chapter 1136, The Country That Awaits the Sun. The chapter starts where the last one ended, as Luffy enjoys eating Moose's meat. Jarl explains that most humans don't get to come up with the Sun World. Humans often arrive and think that the underworld is Elbaph, so they end up fleeing in fear. We see the Straw Hat crew is enjoying themselves at the party. Robin, Chopper, and Frankie are not in the party yet. Many giants are interested in Jinbei and Brook since they have never seen other races. Usopp tells the giants the tales of their adventures, like when he defeated Oars. As he mentions Oars, a giant says that Oars is a legendary fierce warrior among the giant race. Road is forced to apologize to everyone by Gerd. He secretly enjoys being forced by Gerd, lol. Zoro says, "If Usopp didn't stop me, your head would have flew already." I'm glad Zoro said that because it was really annoying when they were running from Road. Like, you know, he's such a weakling and they're so overpowered at this point, it just didn't make sense. Road says that every giant's dream is to become the sun god and rule the world. Hearing that, many giants start fighting since many disagree on what the sun god is. Some believe he's the god of liberation, others say he's the god of destruction. Even one giant says he's the god who laughs. Jarl says that the Elbaph mythology called Haley, in Japanese, name could be Harley too, is written in an ancient language that no one can translate. So there has been many interpretations. According to the myth, the world has already been destroyed twice. That's pretty interesting. That's kind of lining up with what Vegapunk was talking about with the great floods and whatnot. Imu and the Gorosei have probably did this whole flood thing at least twice at this point, at least in recorded history. We don't really know what happened during the Void Century, but obviously that has something to do with it. Also, I'm assuming that this ancient language that no one can translate is the Poneglyph language. Right. While Jarl talks, we can see an ancient picture of Nika that appears in Elbaph mythology. The picture is similar to Nika's silhouette we saw when Who's Who talked about him, but with more details. Sun God Nika had long and curly white hair with white clouds floating around his neck, like Luffy when he uses Gear 5. He also wore a loincloth and held a sword and a shield. Okay, more details on Nika. The only thing that's really getting updated here is that he had curly hair. It kind of looked like fire in the original silhouette that we got, but I guess it just means that his hair's curly now. I don't know if this is Joy Boy or just the idea of Sun God Nika that led to the devil fruit, because at this point I'm pretty sure they're not one and the same. Jarl says whether he's going to be a hero who keeps the world from ruins or a destroyer who brings about disasters, one thing is certain: he always appears when the world is about to greatly change, and that's why those in power fear the appearance of Nika. Luffy says, "So he is Nika. He must be the guy Bonnie was talking about." Jarl says, but since he's the sun god, those seeking hope look to him without exception. It is said that Nika is a figure in pure white outfit and enshrouded by clouds, and he appears with thunderous laughters. Luffy says that must be what everyone was referring to when they said I look a lot similar, ha ha ha, but I have nothing to do with that god. Jarl says that what happened with Harold and Loki may be the result of them trying to become Nika themselves. Luffy asks everyone whether Loki is a good person, and all the giants are shocked, so they explain all the pranks and chaos Loki caused in the past. Giants say, "He's the accursed prince!" In fact, King Harold received a prophecy foretelling that he'll be killed by a son even before Loki's birth. Shortly after his birth, he killed the lucky horse of the royal family. It was also the same year when Linlin killed the legendary great warrior Yorl. Natural disasters rained upon this country one after another. Even the queen passed away 1 year after Loki's birth. He made the underworld his playground. He slaughtered and tamed the ferocious beasts with his overwhelming strength, and then he unleashed them into the village, all while he was just 10 years old. Setting things on fire and destroying everything, his pranks have endangered our lives more times than we can count. With his authority as the prince and his terrible personality, you can imagine the hell this place was in when King Harold was away. Okay, so that finally lines up with Loki's original Norse mythology. You know, the god of mischief and whatnot. Jarl continues and says he got a sword in his head from trying to stop Loki from killing his father. Then, after killing King Harold, Loki went out to sea to cause chaos, but he was captured by Shanks 6 years ago and returned to Elbaph. Luffy is very excited to hear Shanks' name. Okay, so that's an update. Shanks didn't defeat Loki on Elbaph. Loki was out doing pirate stuff, I guess, and he ran into Shanks and got beat and straight up captured. And we also talked about this yesterday, but this, I guess, confirms more or less that this is what led to Shanks becoming a Yonko, since Brand New said that Shanks has only been a Yonko for 6 years. Did you know that you can talk to characters from the series with Polybuzz? It's an app that lets you create your own unique character chatbot by yourself, and you can talk with other OCs or existing characters from movies, anime, or pop culture. It has over 10 million downloads worldwide and over 20 million characters in the app, so it is a must-have for you to unleash your creativity. I was able to make my own Zhoniin OC. I was finally able to talk to Tatsumaki.
Don't even think that just because we got married, I'm going to change my behavior. Did you hear me, dummy?
So now that we're married, does that mean that we could make out?
Hey, don't be so straightforward.
I was also able to talk to Saitama, but he was kind of in a bad mood.
What have you done?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kill Genos.
Sorry isn't gonna bring him back. I will kill you.
So guys, you can download Polybuzz right now by checking the link in the description, and you can get a premium free trial by using my code ZONE33. That's ZHON 33. Thanks, guys. While the Giants talk about Loki, Zoro is observing Luffy and thinks that he acts a bit unusual. So they have a talk in private on the outskirts of the village. Zoro says, I thought you were being unlike yourself. So that's how it is. But we're talking about a Kingslayer disliked by the entire country. You shouldn't trust a single word out of his mouth. Luffy says, but he said he knows where Shanks is. Do you know how much I want to see him? And Zoro says that's what allows others to take advantage of you. Luffy angrily says, so you're saying Loki doesn't know? He's getting a beating if that was all a lie. Zoro says, basing on what others said, Loki may be lying, but it's impossible to say unless he goes to meet Loki in person. As they are conspiring, they get caught by Nami. Nami says, I was wondering what you guys were up to. Do you think you two can reach anywhere without me? Zoro says, listen up, Luffy. We will get the key to the chains, but leave it to us and we'll see what this Loki is up to. Luffy says, got it. Thanks, guys, but why is this guy here? We discover that Luffy, Zoro, and Nami are traveling in a spar, and Road is the one rowing it for them. Road has been electrocuted again by Nami, and he's talking now with Nami and Zeus. Nami agrees to take Luffy and Zoro to get the key at the castle, but Nami's true intention is to get the treasure from the castle, LOL. Cut to the underworld, where Hooded Shanks and Hooded Woman arrive to meet Loki. They come to recruit Loki to join the God's Knights. Loki laughs and refuses, saying that he doesn't want to become a scum. Then he asks whether the two of them are celestial dragons, but they don't say anything. Okay, here was the big reveal from yesterday. The Holy Knights aren't here to, execute Loki, at least at first. They wanted him to straight up become a Holy Knight, which is crazy because I assumed that only celestial dragons could become or were Holy Knights, but I guess that's not the case. Hooded Shanks asks the Hooded Woman what information they have about Loki. The woman replies that all the agents they sent to Elbaph got attacked by a giant crow and disappeared, so they have no information about Loki's weakness. The Hooded Woman takes her cloak off and we can see her full design. Her name is Gunko. In Japanese, that means army child, and she's a member of the God's Knights. No name or full design of Hooded Shanks in this chapter. Gunko wears a cap with goggles, similar to Koala's cap, a blazer with very long sleeves, and a pair of boots. We can see her right eye too, that is white inside and black outside, just the opposite of her left eye. She has some bandages in her arms and legs, and we can see Gunko's powers too. She transforms the blazer long sleeves in bandages with arrow form that she can freely control. Okay, so we got the full reveal of Gunko here. Obviously, we don't have any panels, but this description is good enough, I guess. It makes me wonder more if this is a devil fruit that she has, or if she's kind of just manipulating these bandages. Not really sure yet, but the arrow form obviously is supposed to parallel to what Emu allegedly was doing. Gunko says, well, I let you talk for a bit and all I witness is a lack of manners. Perhaps I should erase you. Hooded Shanks says, don't be hasty, Gunko. As they are talking, a giant wolf appears behind them from the forest. Loki says, dog, ah, ha, 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 eat her, wolf. And Gunko says, hey, you're getting too close. Gunko uses her bandages to wrap around the wolf's neck. Then she hangs the wolf in the air for a while and Loki screams for his friend. Loki says, wolf! Hooded Shanks says, would you change your mind in exchange for this creature's life? In the last page of the chapter, Loki looks defiantly at Gunko and Hooded Shanks while the wolf is strangled. Loki says, so that's the deal you want to make? Well then, That is your sadly fate, my friend. Rest in peace. Of course, there will be anger and sadness, but a warrior doesn't lose his calm in the presence of death. I shall swallow this rage and destroy the world. End of chapter, no break next week. Okay, like I was talking about yesterday, this posits Loki more of an anti-hero in my opinion, and I hope that he ultimately becomes that, or anti-villain. Both are cool with me. We'll just have to ultimately see how he plays out and what really happened with King Harold and all that stuff. And I didn't get to talk about this yesterday, but this could ultimately be leading to Luffy, Zoro, and Nami running into the Holy Knights and Loki here. Since we just found out that they are in fact allegedly on their way to go see Loki and maybe unlock him with the assistance of Road. Now I just say encounter because I don't think there's going to be like a full-on fight. Oda doesn't typically have like big fights like this in the beginning of arcs. I mean, yeah, in Egghead, we kind of got Luffy versus Lucci early on, but obviously the Holy Knights are on a much different level than Lucci. So I think at most we're going to get them to see each other, and then maybe Gunko does something to restrain them possibly, but hopefully we get to see Luffy get a glimpse at quote-unquote hooded Shanks, the alleged brother of Shanks. So that stirs the pot a lot, and then we get some more, lore on that stuff, maybe. Or it'll just be more of oblivious Luffy, and then we'll just have to hear exposition from the side characters or something. But yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.